Rexnord, RXN on New York. Good little company, about $3.3 billion market cap, so not on too many radar screens, but very consistent company. We're starting to talk about names now that could work once we start going back to normal, whatever that's going to look like. Up until now, we've primarily focused on what can work in the new environment, where we're staying home. So technology was working. Of course, healthcare was working because we're looking for solutions to the COVID problem. Staples, because everyone's grocery shopping, staying home, that sort of thing. Gold was working, and I actually think those still continue to work, all of those areas. But I think we can start reaching a little bit. You've seen the market come back tremendously, and the next phase is going to be these smaller ones, okay? Because if you still look at the S&P or the NASDAQ, the NASDAQ in particular, I'd say, is back to its former high before the crash. So it's like nothing happened. But that's been supported by some of those big giants like Microsoft and Facebook and Amazon, who are almost unaffected by this. So it actually makes more sense. I think the indices are a bit misleading at the moment. The small cap index, on the other hand, is down 24%. I think the Russell's about the same. So when I said small cap, that's the S&P small cap, down about 24% still. And there's lots of examples that you can still find. So don't get too tricked by the indices that are showing we're back to normal. That's a lot of the big giants that actually fared fairly well over this period, and people are going into them for safety reasons as well. But there's still a lot of names like Rexnord that I think are really interesting. So I think the best thing actually is to jump into the stock chart, and I'm just going to use Yahoo here because I think they do pretty good charts. So this is Rexnord year to date. Okay, so back in January, the company was doing okay, or the stock at least, let's say. It was slowly going up and down like normal, but mostly up. And around February 21st, which was the peak, we started to get this COVID issue, and then March 23rd, I believe, it'll be pretty close to the bottom, and indeed that's true. And we've seen it bounce around, fits and starts, but nowhere near the back to normal, right? I'd say nowhere near, but it's clearly below what it was before the crash, right? And this is what I'm talking about. There's lots of opportunities like this. There it is, just a different form. But yeah, it was $35, dropped down to $19. It's trading at $26, so it's still actually closer to the low than the high. Lots of opportunities of companies very similar to this. Okay, so let's now jump to our model, and there you see the consistency of the company. The top bars are the return on invested capital, and so back here we're just getting started, and the company really has only been trading since 2012. Became public. We had the data before it became public, or the financials. This is when they really started hitting their stride, as you can see. So good returns, and then the last couple of years improving, up to 19% return on invested capital. That's pretty darn good. And actually undervalued. Pretty decent balance sheet. Maybe a bit more levered than I'd like, but they've been paying down debt up until now. Q1 is on Tuesday, so we'll see what happens there. I don't expect it to be great, but I don't expect it to be horrible either. A couple of things that they do, I think we should talk a little bit more about that, is industrial automation and motion sensors, and Internet of Things in industrial environment. So, that's obviously very important for the future. There's going to be a slowdown in that area now, just because not everybody's working. The obvious. An area that I found interesting as I dug into the company a little bit more was, if you see that middle graphic there, the picture of the faucet there, the automated faucet, right? Now, we've all used these. This is not new. but it's probably going to be mandatory after this to have these. So their brand is Zurn, Z or Z for the Americans, URN, and that's used, all over the place. And you've probably seen it. Start looking as you go into places that have these things. And then the other thing they have is this World Dryer. It's kind of fascinating. So there's, Dyson. Actually, I'm gonna flip over this page and show it to you. It's on the webs here. This is just a rundown. A rundown of different dryers in the marketplace, and we all know the Dyson one. You put your hand down. I personally don't like that one, although it dries fast. You can see the water in the bottom there. You can easily touch the side. I don't like it personally. I do really like this accelerator one. It's super fast. It was like the original super high power one. And then World Dryer is, this is the actual one for Rexnord. This is their brand, World Dryer. That looks kind of familiar. And then there's some other ones. And then down here is this more standard World Dryer, which we all recognize. These were probably the original, ones. And there's the one with the button. Here's one that's touchless. So I think those are very recognizable. Now I will say the hand dryers and the touchless taps are not a big part of their business. It's $700 million for total. The company is $2.1 billion total, so it's not huge. But it's interesting, and it's good that I think it can benefit coming out of this pretty quickly. And their normal business too will be fine when it gets back to normal. So there's no effect in the long run of this. In fact, it's still in a great space. I just don't see any downside in the long run. I will say we're maybe reaching a little bit in terms of what area of the cycle we're in, the recovery cycle. Let's call this maybe a touch later. But when you get into the stock, hard to say. But I will say this: we're starting to look at these opportunities more now that people are getting back to work. We've kind of got a good stable of things that can work in a very tough COVID environment where we're working at home and things aren't fully open. So now we're starting to reach for these later recovery kind of stock. And I would put that in this category, but not super late either. So just good quality company at a good price.
Thanks for watching our investment video. If you want to improve your portfolio returns, simply subscribe. Or if you're an investment advisor or a retail investor and you want help with your portfolio more directly, we can help you with a managed account and manage each and every trade for you.